Hello there, listeners. Pete here from the future. I have been doing the edit of the episode. Unfortunately, we had a few technical issues going on with Discord whilst we were recording. It did not seem to want to play well today, so we apologise for any inconvenience that may be caused in certain areas of the audio. I have tried to clean it up as much as I can. There may still be some odd splutter moments and stuttering, but we hope you still enjoy the episode.
Welcome to episode 29, I can't believe it, of Rapid Reviews Radio. I am your co-host, Kylie Wild, and I'm joined by Pete Beckett.
Hello. Just to put this into context, in 3 episodes' time, it'll be the same age as I am.
I
know, I know, that is just weird, right?
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Oh dear. So how's your week been?
It's been crazy and insane because we're still in isolation.
Yay!
And I am ready for it to be over, but also I'm strongly respecting the things that are in place. So
Yeah, well, of course. I think we all are mostly, but you know, it's getting more and more difficult to have to do that because you just want to see people. I mean, that's not you in that case usually, but for most normal social people, you know, it is getting to them.
I'll tell you what actually the thing that is kind of annoying me, but again, totally respecting the rules and everything in place.
Yeah.
But right before the lockdown happened, I got my UK driving license through. So I'd only been legally driving about a week. And so what I would do in times of stress, like now, would be take a leisurely drive up to the coast because I'm not gonna lie, Northern Ireland has some of the most beautiful coast in the world.
Yeah.
And then just go sit and enjoy the beach for a while and recharge. And I can't do that.
No, of course not.
Yeah, and I won't do that. But
I mean,
so,
you can
yeah.
do it if you're on your own.
Yeah, but I would feel guilty if I showed up at the beach and like a cop came over and was like, you know, this isn't mandatory or whatever it is, necessity or whatever.
Yeah.
I feel bad because I would have put him at risk. You know?
Of course, yeah. But the thing is that you are on your own. It's not like you're congregating with people.
Right.
You
that's
could always
true.
just say that you're having a brief moment to yourself and a rest whilst you're on your walk. I've done it.
That could work. That could work.
Yeah, I mean, I mean, yesterday I was sat outside of a place for about 10 minutes because I'd done quite a long walk at that point, and I just needed to rest. And a cop drove past me, didn't say boo to a goose. So, because I'm on my own, I don't think they could do anything really.
Right. Well, yeah, and see, that's kind of a problem I've kind of run into around here. Is I live in a neighborhood that has lots of what we'd call sidewalks. I don't know. Do you guys call them sidewalks or are they walkways? I guess
Pavements.
Pavement. There you go.
Yeah, but walkways, something along those lines.
Yeah, sidewalks. That's what I call them. Because you walk on the side of the road. But they're like packed full of people.
Yeah.
And everyone's decided to take their leisurely walks at the same time in my little neighborhood. So
it's like they're pretty much like, you know, sending messages out on a WhatsApp group. It's like, I'm going for my walk now. Anyone want to join me at social distancing?
It's like the old Pokemon Go days.
Yeah, Pokemon go straight to the polls.
Oh god. Oh, okay. That is a deep cut, people, and it's American politics. So
yes, said by one Hillary Rodham Clinton.
Yes. Oh god. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was rude versions that came out afterwards. It's like,
I'm sure.
Pokemon go F yourself, basically.
Yeah. guys, we are getting less and less filters as time goes on.
Well, you'll notice that I actually said "f yourself" rather than
Oh,
actually tried to swear.
Having to put
Yeah.
a honk in. Yeah,
Yes, yes, I know. So
But
it's fine.
but
It's fine.
I will say this one little side thing, and then we'll move on to the news. But we do hope you're out there, and we know it's tough. And of course, we'll touch on that during the You Got This segment. But you know, thanks for hanging in there. And if you're in the industries that are necessity, we definitely appreciate you. And that is everyone. That is store clerks, delivery people, of course, the healthcare workers. All of you guys, thanks for hanging in there because we are all in this together.
Yes.
But we're gonna move on to more happier things. Well, maybe not so much happier, but the news.
One news story is quite happy for fans of this particular game. Two of them may not be as good. Well, one of them's got shades of being good, and one of them's definitely not. So we'll start out with the nicey news, of course. To anyone who's a fan of Ubisoft or Ubisoft, I have no idea ever how to pronounce their name.
Yeah, they always pronounce it differently.
Yeah.
I think it's Ubi, but who knows?
I mean, I would go by the actual pronunciation of how you would go it by, in using phonetics and all that. So Ubisoft rather than Ubisoft.
Yeah. Just because of what? Yeah.
Yeah. But that may give you an indication of what we're talking about because it's that time of the year again. Assassin's Creed Valhalla has been announced via live stream.
It has, and by memes everywhere, all the memes.
Yes,
pretty
lots and lots of memes to do with this.
Yeah.
So what do you know about this?
I know that it's an Assassin's Creed game. I know that it has lots of references to previous games. Yes. So a lot of nostalgia factor there. And I strongly suspect that they are doing what they very similarly did with Assassin's Creed Odyssey, which is dropping a game with not much hype so that expectations aren't even there. I was going to say expectations are low, but they're really just not even there. I'll
get into that in a minute.
Well, when Odyssey dropped, it kind of came as a surprise. It definitely surprised, everyone as it climbed up the list on one of the top games for that year.
Yep, it did.
It really took everyone by surprise. And I kind of think that they're following the same formula with this one because I don't remember there being a lot of hype about this. So.
Well, there wasn't a lot of hype because nobody knew about this.
Yeah.
Straight away. They obviously teased the live stream a little bit. They had this live stream that went on, I believe it was on Thursday. I could be wrong, but then a day later they had the cinematic trailer come out. So people who had seen the live stream hadn't seen this trailer, but sort of knew what they were getting as well. So, but I think a lot of the hype that's been based on this, and a lot of the lovely folks over here at Rapid Reviews, Rapid Reviews UK, unfortunately I'm not one of them, are quite excited about this game. I think we do have a few diehard Assassin's Creed fans, to be fair, including Overlord, Mike.
Yes, that's right. That's the one I was going to drop. So
yeah, because he really loved Odyssey, and he especially loved it on Stadia, which is...
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, fair play to him. He likes the Stadia version. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything by that.
That's, yep. But that's actually a good segue if you wanted to take
it. Well, I'm not taking the segue right now because there's still enough to talk about with Valhalla, unfortunately. Do you happen to know what the setting is this time?
Oh, I don't know. I can't even imagine. I'm going to say Southwest Detroit with something with a name like Valhalla.
Really? That is weird. Okay.
And being that they call out Odin in the actual trailer, so.
Okay. So you've seen the trailer?
I've seen it, but I didn't.
Okay. Well, you would know enough if you watched the trailer fully that this is all about Vikings.
couldn't guess. I couldn't guess. Not with
Yes.
Valhalla in the title.
Are you being sarcastic?
I'm being extremely sarcastic.
For once, the English person did not get the sarcasm. Wow.
Uh,
Okay.
yes,
So, yeah, I mean,
yes, yes.
yeah, it's going to take place in that time period, and it's going to be a lot of stuff to do with Vikings versus Saxons, so back onto English shores at some point.
Yeah, I do. Comparison can go without being, but God of War did it really well.
That's what I've
Setting.
heard. That's what I've heard about a lot of things coming out in regards to this news. Is a lot of people are turning around and going, "Why are you doing
Mm-hmm.
Vikings and Norse mythology this way when God of War 2 years ago pretty much exemplified it?"
Yeah, well, and even the newest God of War, the remake or reboot, relaunch, that'll come up later, people.
Yeah.
Um, it, of course, it follows the Viking god mythos. So
Yes.
it'll be interesting to see how they play this out. Um, I here's what I will say. No, I am not the world's biggest Assassin's Creed fan
No.
because they are very formulaic and they are very samey. There's nothing wrong with that at
Yeah.
all. It's just not my particular cup of tea. But one thing that they do really well is the place settings.
Yeah.
They render sometimes they render actual cities and they're so well done.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
Assassin's Creed 2 was absolutely
yes,
outstanding for that. I mean,
absolutely. Mm-hmm.
I'm not the biggest Assassin's Creed fan as well, like
Mm-hmm.
yourself, but I do remember renting. Yeah, that's a throwback to when the original game came out. That I rented that.
Yes, yes.
I played it for a couple of hours and then returned it to Blockbuster because I wasn't infused by it at all.
Wow, Blockbuster.
I
Wow,
know, I
that
know. Yeah, it's crazy, right? But so
is crazy.
I didn't actually. I played Assassin's Creed 2 because I'd heard good
Mm-hmm.
things about it. Still couldn't get into it. Um,
Yeah,
I then
yeah.
I then went and played Brotherhood, and I didn't play the single player of Brotherhood. I only played the multiplayer because the multiplayer was developed by the team who made Splinter
Ah,
Cell Chaos Theory, and I absolutely loved that.
yeah, yeah,
And it
yeah.
was
That makes
great. It
sense.
was outstanding. Like, I mean, Brotherhood apparently is one of the better side stories in the Assassin's Creed 2
That's
mythos.
what I hear. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's what I've
I
told.
didn't play the story mode. Can't say for sure. But
Yeah,
that's about as far as I've gone with Assassin's Creed because I've not played anything since then.
yeah. I kind of thought I would like Syndicate, and I kind of thought I would like Black Flag. I think is what they called it, the pirate.
Assassin's 4 Black Flag was the pirate one. I believe Syndicate was the one that was set in Victoria, England.
It was. And for some reason, like I own Syndicate. I started it up, and I just nothing.
Yeah.
I just couldn't get into it. I
Hmm.
really thought I'd like Black Flag, but for some reason, I think I started playing. I think I started playing Dragon Age Origins or something, and it
Oh, okay.
got distracted.
Yeah, that sounds about right for
Story
me,
of
to be
my life.
honest.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, I always watch the trailers and I always watch the gameplay
Oh,
breakdowns because,
they're
to be
always
honest
beautiful.
with you, most of them are usually at E3 every year. So it's like,
That's true.
I do
That's
watch them because of that. They usually
true.
have good extended periods as well. And I always look at it and I go, oh, they've done really nice stuff with the setting, but it still just looks like Assassin's Creed,
Right.
you
Yes,
know,
exactly.
and it doesn't infuse me at all. And this is no disrespect to the Assassin's Creed franchise, it's just not for me.
Yeah, I think that's more than fine. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I like what they like the idea of what they did with Origins and Odyssey, with the fact that they made them these big sprawling worlds, you know, much bigger than they had been before, and they made them
Yes.
very RPG like. I
Hmm.
like the idea, but it's just not for me.
Yeah.
Okay, I think that's all we're gonna say about Valhalla and Assassin's Creed, really. So we'll move on to the next news story because this one was a fun one, to say the least.
Hmm.
Um, Google have held their third video presentation called Stadia Connect, which was held on the 28th of April, and there were some
Yeah.
announcements. There was an actual announcements for Stadia.
Shocking.
I
They're
know.
still trying to get that, breathe life into that dying console.
They are. So I'll start with the smaller news first. The
Yes.
the exclusive game Thumper has leaving the pro service on as of a couple of days ago,
Mm-hmm.
and is to be replaced by SteamWorld Heist.
Yeah.
That's a good choice.
I will take your word for it.
I haven't played it, but I love the art style and the design, and I've heard great things about the SteamWorld games generally.
Very good.
So that would
Excellent.
be a good choice to have on there. But we've got a slew of different games coming here, and anyone who's on a console will generally know that these are probably the worst way to play these games on Stadia. So PUBG and Zombie
Yeah.
RB4 are coming later on this year.
Yeah. Yeah. That's a,
Um,
that's a marketing ploy to try to get a different audience in.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I will then drop this one because I think this is a massive one for them because it's only on 2 different platforms at this present moment.
Yes. Yes.
So currently on Switch and on
Mm-hmm.
Steam,
Mm-hmm.
Octopath Traveler is coming.
Yep, which was an extremely successful game on the Switch.
Yes, and therefore an extremely successful game on Steam too.
Yes, absolutely. So this is almost virtually an exclusive for them in a way because
Hmm.
none of the big consoles have it, which is
No,
weird.
this is what piques my interest about this.
Mm-hmm.
Any chance that Square Enix signed a console exclusivity deal with Nintendo on this one?
Oh, right.
Does it seem
Oh,
a little bit suspicious that Xbox and PS4 have not got this,
yeah.
but yet streaming platforms such as Stadia has got it?
Yep. I think that is a very, very good observation.
I reckon
That
it.
would make, yeah, that makes perfect sense.
I reckon this was part published by Nintendo.
Mm-hmm. Might have been, yeah. Yeah.
So when it's come to the console side of things, they've gone kind of like the same thing as we said a few months ago about Wonderful 101
Mm-hmm.
remaster. How
Mm-hmm.
Nintendo weren't willing to publish the game on other platforms.
Right.
I think that's
Exactly.
possibly the case.
Yeah. I'm inclined to agree.
Okay,
Really.
so now that we've spoken about the Switch, I want to mention a particular company that doesn't support the Switch at all, but are supporting Stadia.
Yes.
EA.
I'm I'm as a gamer, I am speechless.
I am too.
As a business person, yeah, I get it.
I'm speechless as someone who's interested in business too. I am speechless by this. So I'll get to the
Mhm.
news on this one. So
Yeah, yep.
EA have announced as part of the Stadia Connect that they're bringing FIFA, Madden, and Jedi Fallen Order to the service later on this year.
Mm-hmm. Now, why I think this makes sense on a business level
Yes.
is because Google and EA are a little bit like Sony in that they have more than just interest in consoles and games.
That is true.
EA is trying to start a streaming service, as we know.
They have.
So I think they're getting in business bed with Google about other things, and these were just add-ons to the contract.
Oh, okay. I didn't think of that angle. That's a good way of thinking
Yeah,
about things. However,
yeah.
can I preface this with the point that I was going to make about this?
Sure, absolutely.
And it comes down to raw figures and raw figures alone, because raw figures are something that I'm interested in.
Yep, yep, yep.
Nintendo Switch install base, over 50 million. Install
Yeah,
base for Stadia, 1 million.
yeah.
How does that make sense from a business standpoint?
Um, because again, EA's got its sights on something bigger. It's got a bigger fish.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, is that I actually didn't
Yeah,
consider the angle you put, and that's
yeah,
why I just wanted to counterpoint it with the fact that there is a bigger install base on other platforms. But
that.
that's not taking into account that they're possibly asking Google for some advice on how to advance their streaming platform.
Yeah, exactly. It is weird, and we've kind of touched on this before, and we'll touch on it again.
Of course we
That
will.
when you start breaking down corporations, it really comes down to just 6 big companies that own everything,
Pretty
including
much.
food, media, cars, electronics, all of that.
Yeah.
And they all have deals with each other. You scratch my back, I scratch your back.
Yeah, it's the old thing that Trump got in trouble for, is that quid pro
Mhm.
quo.
Yes, exactly. No, a president should not do that, but yes, companies do it.
Yes, but he is a businessman first and foremost, so he would always work on that principle, no matter what way he's
Yeah,
dealing with things.
but
But
you
I do
become
know what you mean.
yeah, you should put pause. But I mean, I understand it, because if your brain is set up that way to think in terms of deals
Yep.
and mutual beneficial deals and all this kind of stuff, I mean, that's your go-to.
Yeah, exactly. And is not politics basically making deals with parties?
Well, see, that's the thing. A skilled politician. There's a quote, and I'm not going to say it because I'll forget it. I'll
Mm.
get it wrong. In my current brain.
Yeah, okay.
I'm very tired. But a skilled politician is actually someone who's just skilled at making everyone think they got what they wanted.
You mean someone who's an expert in the art of negotiation?
Yes, but as a business person, Trump's not great at negotiation.
No, it's my way or the highway, that's it.
Yeah, yeah. Negotiating is one of my favorite aspects of business, and it's kind of like a game in and of itself.
It is. I do like that
Yeah,
whole I'll set a
yeah.
high offer so it just deters you, and then you put a really low offer in to wind them up, and then you start meeting in
Yes,
the middle because of
exactly.
it. It is essentially a financial based dance.
It is, and it's very fun. And when I
Yeah.
first moved over here, uh, I grew up obviously around Houston, Texas. Houston, Texas is a very huge international port.
Yeah.
So there's tons of international markets, and you get to kind of just interact with people from just all over the world, and
Yeah.
you learn different cultures, and you learn, different things that other cultures do. Like, some won't put a price on what they're selling
Yeah.
because they're going to tell you a different price than they're going to tell someone else. Some will put a price that is exorbitant, just way out there, because they want you to come make a deal. So
Yeah.
I'm used to doing that.
Mm.
And I got here and I went to the farmer's market, and there's a big giant farmer's market here. And it was at the end of the day, and you could tell all of their stuff was going to go off. They were going to have to trash it. They couldn't sell it.
Oh, of course.
So I went up to the butcher and I was like, look, I'll give you, 10 pounds or I'll give you a tenner for all your chicken that's left.
Yeah.
And he looked at me like I was insane. And I
Yeah.
was like, he's like, no, it's marked as 20, and I'm like, you're
Yeah.
about to throw it out. You can't sell that. And he was so taken by surprise. He didn't end up selling it to me.
Oh, damn.
But but I think it's because he was so, that had never happened before.
Yeah, because he's not used to an American coming
Yeah.
over there and going, "I'll barter with you."
Yeah. But I do find
that is literally America, isn't it? It's like
it is
everything can be haggled.
everything. Even if you go into a grocery store, like let's say grocery store, but like a superstore like Walmart.
Yeah.
If you go in and you find something, and let's say it's a little piece of it's broken off, they have to do, I forget what they're called now. It's been so long, but they have to throw them away and then write them off.
It's basically called X display.
There you go.
Saying over here.
Yeah. So they have to write it off, and it gets paid for in the long run, blah blah. So if you find it, you can take it up to now. I haven't been back in America for a long time, so maybe rules have changed. I don't know, but I would take it up to customer service and say, look, the leg has broken off of this, I don't know, chair. I'll pay you, half of the price. And they're like, well, all right, I guess so, because at least we're making, let's say $15 as opposed to $0.
Yeah,
I'm like,
exactly.
Yeah, and you can do that to all kinds of stores in America. You come over here and they're like, very nervous. Like, I don't know about that. I have
No.
to try to
You do know, like, over here, and this is, like, something that I saw in an old TV show at some point. It was someone who used to give financial advice, which
Right.
one of those daytime TV shows to try and save people money.
Yeah.
He actually used to go into stores and haggle. And
Really?
yeah, it's one of the things that most shops, they understand that people want to haggle, but they're not willing to do it. But you can get discounts because of it.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny.
Yeah, it's weird.
I used to do that in America because that was my purpose. Sometimes I'll still do it here just to see the expression on people's faces.
Yeah, deers in the headlights sort of
Yes,
shocked expression.
yes. But sometimes I'll come across a culture that I'm familiar with working with.
Yeah.
Because of being in Houston and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And it is literally what you just said. It is a dance, and you can tell we're both enjoying it.
Yeah.
They know that I know, and I know that they know what we're doing, and
Yeah.
those are fun. I do enjoy that.
Yeah, I mean, I do love the fact as well, and the way that it's sort of interpreted it is that one person is doing the rumba and the other person's doing the two-step, and then you eventually get to the middle and you're starting tangoing.
Yeah.
Wow, that was terrible.
But no, it's a lot of fun. How did we get on that bunny trail?
Because we talked business and how EA like, for some reason, like, don't do normal business like everyone else.
No, they have. I if I was to guess, and you know, guys, I don't know if you know this, but we've been right about a lot of things in the past episodes.
We have been right about a few things.
We have called some stuff. So I would say that EA has its sights set on something bigger, a bigger partnership with Google. And this stuff is just little extra add-ons.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think they're getting into bed with Google as such. I think they're using this as a platform, basically, to help get some knowledge and then potentially put the streaming services on the next generation of consoles. Much like Game Pass is, you know, how Microsoft are going to have xCloud going, basically, and all that sort of thing. I think they'll have this proprietary, probably at launch, EA Access and Ubisoft's, or Ubisoft, I can't even... See, call back again. You know, they'll have, like, Uplay Plus and stuff like that, maybe when the consoles launch. Because I remember that being such a big problem over the launch of the PS4, is that certain different services wanted to be there but weren't allowed to be there because of the license holders for, you know, the Xbox and the PlayStation just wouldn't allow it.
Yeah. God, yeah. This is like... Say this... has... Let's be honest, EA's only been about making money the last, I don't know, 10, 15 years. They've just tried to wring every last drop out of their customer base.
Yeah, I would say it's probably 20 years now.
Yeah, and trying to think
of when they... the early 2000s, around about the time when they were ripping up other studios and closing them down for no reason, Bullfrog.
That's exactly what I'm... Yes, Maxis was who I was thinking of.
Yeah, well, Bullfrog was the most painful for me. Maxis was probably the most painful for you.
It was quite a bit.
Yeah.
God, it's hard to think that was 20 years ago.
I know. Can we move on? Because that's now made me sad again.
Yeah, that's made me a bit sad too. Okay, let's go on.
Let's get on to this incredibly depressing news story then.
Oh my gosh. I promise. Trying to keep it peppy, my friends out there.
I know.
I was to say in TV land, but in podcasting land.
Yes. So, if you have been living under a rock, you would not know about this news story, but everyone else online seems to know about this news story. So, I don't know if... Personally, I didn't want to cover this. But I have to, because it is the biggest news story. It is the most evolving news story of the entire week as well. And this... Everything that has gone on with this is just totally insane.
Say that we're going to... Can I safely say that we're going to be kind of generic and not drop major plot points?
Well, I don't know if I can. That's the problem. I'm going to err on the side of caution and say if you don't want to know anything about what's been going on, I will leave
Yes.
timestamps in the description of the
Yes.
podcast so that you can
Yes. Yes.
completely skip over this, because there's
I
going
think
to
that's
be some
why.
stuff that I might inadvertently say that might be a
Mhm.
callback to what's actually happening in this story. So you have been fully warned.
Yes.
Spoilers may be ahead.
Right.
But the news story is, and I'll give it another couple of seconds. Good. Okay. That was just to make sure that people had switched through. So,
Yeah.
The Last of Us Part 2 has had major plot points, as well as the opening 7 minutes of the game leaked online, as well as a massive description about every single plot point in the entire game. Now, the reason why this is an evolving news story is because 2 weeks ago, and I'm just going to rant at you here about the timeline of events because I've watched this so closely over the last
Right.
week. So,
Yeah.
around about the beginning of April, so about 4 weeks ago, the first 7 minutes of the game were leaked online. As you remember, the game then got indefinitely delayed,
Yes.
and it may not have been resulting from that leak, but they
Right.
indefinitely delayed the game. Now, weirdly enough, these leaks start to happen, and a new release date is set. I'm going to preface this by adding another part to this news story that the release date has now been set to the 19th of June 2020, pushing Ghost of Tsushima back to July. Now, that's unfortunate because I would have preferred to have Ghost of Tsushima first,
Yeah.
personally. But
Yeah.
I understand why they're putting Last of Us Part 2 out there first now because of these leaks. So what has probably come about is that the first set of leaks has led to Sony, Naughty Dog, and Sucker Punch Studios, who made Ghost of Tsushima, probably jumping in some sort of conference call to agree that one game was going to be pushed back and the other pushed forward. And then the leaks, more further leaks happened.
Yeah.
So to say that someone has, or to say that Sony, Naughty Dog, Neil Druckmann, any one of the higher ups at Naughty Dog Studios, or any of the higher ups at Sucker Punch Studios, have added the release date of the game based solely on these leaks from this week, would be wrong, I believe. I think this is an ongoing situation for the past couple of weeks, and this has been an ongoing active discussion for weeks. And then this just so happened to come about.
I agree because, and here's why.
Yeah.
They Naughty Dog has recently again come under fire.
Oh yeah, I was getting to this.
For their yeah.
Yeah. Well, I think this all links, and this is what I was going to get to. So you have kind of, I mean, you've not spoiled the news story, let's say.
Oh.
No, I'm not. No, not at all. You've brought up a very active, good, like decent discussion point here. So, it is claimed, and there has been counterclaims as a result of this. I don't know what to believe in this situation because
I'm with you there.
Okay, so it has come about from a Reddit post that the person who's leaked these plot points was a contractor or an ex-employee of Naughty Dog who was not paid his bonuses early because of the lockdown.
Yeah.
They wanted their bonuses early to actually make rent and mortgage repayments, all that sort of thing, and Naughty Dog have turned around and said no.
Right.
Their business practices have been called into question before, and this has called them into question again about crunch culture.
Right.
And the way that they treat certain individuals in the company. So one of the claims that has come about, and I'm sorry, this is all like just verbal diarrhea at you. This is what I mean. This is so complex. It's ridiculous.
Very, absolutely.
So it has come about that apparently Neil Druckmann may have got an advisor on board who is not the most reputable person in terms of the game industry. That person potentially being Anita Sarkeesian
Oh dear.
to
Oh dear.
to advise on feminist
Oh dear.
matters.
Oh dear. I
Um,
actually did not know that part. I'm finding this out with all the rest of you.
yeah, that
Oh dear.
we're not 100% certain on this one, but he has claimed that he is a big fan of Anita Sarkeesian's. So I don't know whether that's just some people who are annoyed about the situation throwing
Right.
accusations around. These are unfounded at present time.
Right.
But it has been called into question as well that a focus tester from Uncharted 4 made mention about some of the angles that they were going for in terms of the story, gave their feedback, and was subsequently fired by Neil Druckmann for giving feedback. Oh boy.
Interesting. Yeah. We might need to have a future episode that's just about Naughty Dog.
I think we do, because they're
Yeah.
becoming a bit of a.
Yeah.
They were once a darling of the industry, and they're now becoming, let's say, and I hate using the term because I think the term's been so watered down nowadays. They're becoming very, very toxic.
Yeah.
They're very much becoming Rockstar in that respect. Crunch culture, odd choices, all that sort of thing. It is strange.
Okay, I do think we need so.
Sorry.
And also versus because as a workaholic,
Yep.
I can't say I'm against crunch culture, but that's because my personal POV point of view is I work better in the crunch, as they say.
Oh yeah, I think most people generally do, but it is not something that should be forced upon you. If you want to take overtime, that is a choice. It seems like most game developers and most companies now have it as a clause in their contracts that overtime is forced. That's my problem.
Yeah, that I have to say that's actually a I'm going to call it a loophole that cropped up back in the US when I was doing various works and contracting jobs and stuff. There was a kind of forced overtime, which is supposed to be against the law, but there's loopholes that you can do, especially with contract labor. And so, I mean, again, I'm perfectly set up for crunch culture, but I know that the average person is not. So I definitely think it should be a choice.
Oh, yeah, it should be.
Yeah. I don't think you should be penalized if you choose not to do it.
No, because people have lives outside of work, you know.
Yes.
What about that
Normal
person?
people.
Yeah, what about that person who is a single father, you know, or a single mother, you know, and they're being told that they have to do 60-hour work weeks by force, and it's like, well, who's gonna pick my kids up? Who's gonna take them to bed? Who's gonna put them to bed and all that sort of thing? If I'm still here, I can't be going home at 1 a.m. and then going back to work for 6 a.m. When do I see my kids? Basically, is the principle. Okay, so that's called that into question. Like I said, this is weird. The whole thing is all over the blooming place. So
it's very multi-layered.
Yeah. Anyway, so this potential contractor who's potentially leaked the entire game was frustrated about the state of the working conditions, the state of the lack of a bonus payment, and decided to get one back on Naughty Dog by releasing the entire game in handheld footage, basically.
Yeah.
And then leaking very key plot points to do with the game. Now, I don't think this is a big spoiler at all, but obviously if people are not interested in the spoiler side of things, we have warned. We know this from the trailer that was at E3 2018, that they've taken a bit of a different direction with Ellie by making her either gay or bisexual.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently, and big warning for you here, Kylie, as well. If you want to hear this, let me know.
Uh-huh. It's fine. I know a lot of the lore anyway, so.
Well, apparently the main villains of this game is a radical Christian sect
Oh.
who does not believe in homosexuality.
Oh no. Oh, it's a zombie game. Ah, I just.
Exact. My point exactly.
Ugh.
This is a zombie survival or horror game, basically.
I do think, as we have observed in our own global lockdown, I
Yeah.
do think that cults would crop up. I do not think.
Yeah.
I mean, and let's be honest. I'm going to get real honest and real here, folks.
Yeah.
I don't have a filter, so you just have to deal with it. I'm sorry. But there have been people here in Northern Ireland and back in the States. There have been, what do you call them here? We would call them pastors or ministers, preachers. That's what we would call them. But,
of course.
church leaders, I guess.
We'd call them priests.
Well, yeah. On both, just religious holy men, we'll say that.
Yeah, okay.
Who have come out and said that COVID-19 is the result of God's anger, or as a thing that was put through my door last week, COVID-19 is the gentle reminder of an angry God.
Ugh, that's not helping anything at all.
Was in a panel. So, what I'm saying is, a question for there to be religion. No, I think that their primary focus would be on survival.
Yeah.
Rather than people's quote unquote moral choices.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, guys, I'm cynical. Remember, you can always disagree with us. We love discourse. That's our thing.
Of course.
I feel like this is being politicized, and I love the original Last of Us.
Yeah.
But as you start to play the DLC, you start to get a sense that he was at it. Neil Druckmann specifically. He's not the only one. It's a team, but Neil Druckmann specifically started adding his own personal politics in.
Yeah, I had noticed that as well. I mean, I did mention it as well that obviously that focus tester had a big problem with some things to do with Uncharted 4, and specifically what it was that apparently Nate's child was changed from male to female for no reason.
Right. In a way, that's fine. I mean, for me, that's such a minor thing. I do, of course, like seeing more female faces and blah, blah, blah.
Of course, but that was the thing about it, is that they, it's a child. It's not got a bloody personality at that point. It was a small child, and someone comes in and goes, and this is where obviously the stuff with Anita Sarkeesian apparently comes in. Is that she, she looked at it. Yeah, apparently she looked at it and went, what if this child was female? And he went, that's a good idea, and just changed it. And it's like,
I wish I could get paid to just walk in and say that.
Imagine if I walked into a company and said, what if that person was male? I'd be laughed out of the place. Wouldn't I?
Yeah,
This isn't... I'm sorry, but I'm going to get on my soapbox here, and I'm going to get pretty frustrated about this as a man. That's not an equal standing. That's creating an unequal bias system. And they'll talk about the patriarchy and all that, but I don't believe in the patriarchy. I believe in a fully proper, equal society between races, sexes, gender, whatever, ethnicity, the whole lot. Everyone is on an equal standing because we are the one thing that links us all together. We are human.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
God's sakes.
Yeah, okay. I want to take a note. I think we should actually explore this further in another episode.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
This story itself is multi-layered, but it's leading to other things that I think... are worthy of discussion.
Yeah, I think we should stop this right now because actually, politics in video games,
all that.
all the
That's a
stuff to
good
do with
dialogue.
misogyny and gender dysphoria and all that sort of thing
Yeah,
in
because
games. It's all talking points that we could take, and I think probably we'll start doing that over the next coming weeks.
yeah, I think we should. We might get another person on so that we can have a third point of view, because I've just read a line that tells me we need to have an open discussion, discourse, dialogue about this.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Neil Druckmann is quoted as saying the reason why one of his games failed, and this is an actual quote from him.
Was this
the
on
reason,
Twitter?
Do what?
Is this on Twitter?
Yes.
Okay.
It was a video of him, and this is the text from that video. The reason it failed is because it was a misogynistic idea.
Oh,
I
go
want
away.
to explore that. Go away. So I think that's worth a dialogue.
Yeah, absolutely. But I'm going to say one thing on this principle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if it's a misogynistic, why didn't you give the game directing stance to a woman then?
Mm-hmm.
Why are you heading up? Why are you heading up the company then? Give it to a woman then. If that's your politics, give it to a lady you feel is actually responsible enough to take that position. But if you're not willing to do that, put it to the one side. Honestly,
I think this is a very, very good future discussion. I would like the thing that you'll find is that Pete and I do kind of mirror each other on our politics. I mean, we've got some differences, but for the most part, we're pretty similar. Yeah. We'll reach out to some folks and see, because I think, again, I'm repeating myself here, but I think this is a good dialogue to have.
Absolutely. I think to have a proper discussion about this, we need people from different angles as well. Yes. We need proper discourse rather than it being an echo chamber.
Yeah, that's it exactly. Yeah. Because that's one thing that I think Pete and I are both pretty strong on. We don't want the podcast or anything really to become an echo chamber. So
exactly.
Yeah.
So I think we'll reach out to a couple of the Rapid Reviews writers and see if there are people who are on the different and maybe on a different side to us.
Yes,
so that they can have discourse. Maybe if we get two people as well, we can argue one side, they can argue the other side. It will be like a proper political debate.
Yeah, but I do want to preface this with, don't worry, guys. It will be friendly. It will not be negative. It will be very positive. It will be just an exploration, a true discourse, which has been lost in the last decades.
100% agree. I think even in politics, there isn't true discourse. It is just literally taking jabs at each other, and we don't get
and that's not
done that way. You know, you look at how things are at the moment with Labour and Conservative over here, or Republicans and Democrats over in America, and it is literally just them taking pot shots at each other. There is no
constructive.
Yeah, there's no discussion. Yeah. It's not a discussion. It is a fight. It is a literal fight.
Yeah, and that's not at all what we want to promote on here. More of a intelligent discussion of different talking points.
Yeah, exactly.
That elevates it quite a bit.
Yeah, so we'll take we'll put a bookmark in this one for the moment.
Yes.
And we'll come back to this one possibly next week.
Yeah, because I would like to. Yeah, I'd like to discuss this. I think this story is going to also develop and become a larger part of the video game dialogue.
Because actually I do as well, because actually there has been an evolution on the story even in the last day. And the fact that apparently Naughty Dog have come out and said that the person who leaked this had nothing to do with Naughty Dog, which
that's what I read.
I think that's damage limitation more than anything.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, because my point in this before we move on is, if they had nothing to do with Naughty Dog whatsoever or Sony, how the hell did they get hold of this?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, there's just so much we can explore here.
Yeah, exactly. So
it's going to be fun.
Yeah, this is going to evolve further next week. So yeah, we'll
stick around, folks.
Yeah, we won't. I don't think we'll cover this in the news next week. Then we'll just cover all the points in our topic, and it could be that this topic could take a couple of weeks as well.
I was going to say, if it's evolving as it seems to be, there's just a larger, I know I'm repeating myself, but there's just a larger dialogue to be had here.
Of course, yeah.
It is
Okay.
not a quick and easy one. But yes.
Not at all. So we will move very swiftly on to your section. Our section.
Yes.
Sorry, it is our
Yes, because
section.
now,
But
yes,
it's the
exactly.
one that is chaired by you.
Yes. So we're moving on to the You Got This section, which is usually a 2-minute segment where you focus on your mental health. And no, it does not have to be 2 minutes, of course.
No, it's just our section is usually tries to be 2 minutes, but never is.
Never. I think 1 out of 29 times it's been.
Yeah.
Today, I'm actually bringing something that I don't want to talk too much of it because it's such a personal thing for each person to kind of chew on and meditate on, if you want to use that phrase or whatever.
Yeah.
But as an American,
Which you make mention probably about 4 times an episode at least.
I know.
As an American.
As an American. And actually, what I'm trying to show is I'm not culturally the same as a lot of the Brits are over here and Europeans that I've met. And so I stumble upon things. Well, perfect example, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. I stumbled on that. I have no prior, we didn't have the television show or the radio show easily accessed. So it was literally me seeing it in a library and going, oh, I love this. And then I come over here and it's like, yeah, Kylie, we all love it. I was like, oh.
Yeah.
So this kind of has happened with what I'm about to read here. It's my absolute, one of my top 3 favorite, I'm going to say poems because I think that's probably what it's considered. Yeah, it is considered a poem.
Cool.
Now, bearing in mind, I had never heard this before. I don't know anything about what you guys call football and we call soccer. I know that there's been a movie made from this, and I've seen this.
Hold on a minute.
Quoted...
Wait. I've got to pull that back there. Did you just say what we call what you call football and we call soccer? Did you get that the wrong way around? What you call football, we call soccer.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Wanted to correct that.
Yeah. And, so I know there's been a movie made about this, and I know that in my CrossFit competitions and stuff, seeing other people from other gyms, they have it quoted on their shirt. So I know something tells me that this poem I'm about to read is probably well known by our British audience.
Sure.
It is not as well known by the Americans or possibly anyone else.
Okay.
But I love it, and it's for all of us right now. Like I said, I'm not going to speak too much about it. It's just to mull over and think that we're going to get through this.
Yeah, of course.
We just are. We're going to get through this. But the poem is Invictus.
Oh, yeah.
And see?
I mean, I don't know it that well, but I know of it.
Well, that's the thing. It's kind of a well-known thing over here culturally, whereas back in the States, I stumbled on it again in a book somewhere.
And yeah, clearly proven by the fact that you just mentioned the name, and it's I know who he's
yeah, exactly my point. So this is Invictus. It's by William Ernest Henley, which, go have a good read about him. It's very interesting. But so the poem is as follows. Out of the night that covers me, black as the pit from pole to pole, I think whatever gods may be for my unconquerable soul. In the fell clutch of circumstance, I have not winced nor cried aloud. Under the bludgeonings of chance, my head is bloody but unbowed. Beyond this place of wrath and tears looms but the horror of the shade, and yet the menace of the years finds and shall find me unafraid. It matters not how strait the gate, how charged with punishments the scroll. I am the master of my fate. I am the captain of my soul.
Nice.
That is...
It's good. It's good.
Brilliant.
Can I pull into question one thing that you did say about football and soccer?
Yes.
You do know the Invictus Games that was in the Invictus Games and
I can already say no.
Invictus has nothing to do with football whatsoever.
Is it really?
It's actually rugby.
I am an ignorant American.
No, because the thing is that the film Invictus with Morgan Freeman and Matt Damon
Yes.
was the first time that the South African rugby team ever won the World Cup.
Oh wow.
Yeah. There you go.
I once I told someone, I don't even remember, this is years ago when I first got here, oh yes, I just love this. Oh, the reason why I came to this point was I went through about 3 or 4 years of surgeries and recovery. They were very intense, very painful and all stuff. I spent 2 years on my back in a hospital.
Yeah.
So I read that to kind of get me through it. When I told someone that, they're like, oh, yes, it's a beautiful poem. You have to see this film. And they brought me the DVD of Invictus. I've never watched.
Of course you haven't, because I think you'd quite like it if it had to do with rugby,
I do like rugby.
Exactly,
Yeah.
Big butch
Yeah,
men,
so I may have a watch.
Yeah.
But I love this poem. I do bring it out and read it. Like I said, there's 2 others. Maybe I'll read those later.
Yeah.
But in a future episode. But this, we're going to make it through this. We are going to make it through this.
To be honest, this is comes back to a discussion that was had between my mum and dad this morning. They were getting a bit heated about the lockdown rules and all that sort of thing.
Right.
Where my mum works in the education sector, and there was a discussion about sending kids back to school in June.
Yeah.
And my dad mentioned the word, mentioned about sending troops out and stuff like that. It is the time that we're living in is essentially now, at the moment, currently a war. It is kind of a war zone in a completely different way of looking at things. This is very, very strange times, but we will get through it.
Oh, absolutely, and as always, we're gonna get through it. We'll be stronger for it as a people. And we're all in this together. Yep. I say it every week, but it's the truth. I am the world's most asocial person probably ever. And even I have such a sense of community.
Yeah.
And I don't know. Maybe it's because I choose to see the good things coming of it, but
yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's unprecedented. We are coming together as a global community, and I think only good things will come from this. Yeah, it'll be rough stuff.
Yeah, of course, and it's going to take a fair while for things to go back to normal properly after this. But
and maybe there'll never be an old normal, but that's okay.
Well, there is no such thing as an old normal. Normal is not even a thing. It's
that's true.
It's what is socially acceptable at that time, which is why you obviously had, the hippie culture of the 60s, that went out of control, because that was socially acceptable back then, to take lots of drugs and, free love movement and all that sort of thing. Whereas in the 70s, that sort of, stopped, hadn't it? And then disco had sort of taken over, and people were all about that for about 2 years, because then they burned all of them. Yeah, because that genre died an absolute death after that even Michael Jackson didn't really touch it.
Yep. Wow, off on a bunny trail again.
Yeah, I know, but still.
But that's why you guys listen to the show.
Yeah, you love us ranting about stupid stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It makes time go by.
Yes, it does. So, your healthy fix of 2 hours every week.
Just. But as always, for that. And any kind of literature ever. No, I anything.
Yeah.
One of those people. They always people who post motivational quotes and stuff.
Yeah.
On your social media. I'm one of those people. I like it.
I know,
they make me happy.
Yeah, it's good. So everyone's got to have something that keeps them going throughout all of this.
Yeah.
Mine is watching terrible news come out and just feeling like I have an idea of what's going on.
Yeah, but that is actually a valid point, that for some people, it feels better to know what's going on. You know, or to have an idea down to the last, detail what's going on.
Yeah.
And then for some people, their way of feeling better is to not know anything.
Yeah.
And it's not my way of coping, but I understand it. I actually have a relative that she's like, I can't watch things. Absolutely can't watch.
Yeah, it's the whole stick your head in the sand principle, isn't it?
Yeah. But that's what some people need to do to cope. And, we should, I try to be respectful of that.
Yeah, me too. But sometimes it is hard to obviously get through to someone who's sticking their head in the sand because you're trying to tell them what's going on, and they're like, don't want to know, don't want to know.
Yeah, I will say that the person that sticks their head in the sand and I have vastly different politics, but I still love and respect them as a person.
Oh, of course. Because politics is not everything in this world.
Oh, gosh, no. And please don't. Oh, gosh, no. If this has taught us anything, we're all people. We're all people underneath it all. We all want the same things. We have the same motivations and everything.
Exactly. We preface that, obviously, in the news story as well. I said it specifically. We're all people. We're all human. We're all in this together. Exactly. And personal politics aside, why let something like this divide us because of something something as ridiculous as some crazy stuff that's in a video game that is not very made people not very happy about the direction that they're going. Don't like it, don't buy it. End of.
Oh, you just quoted Neil Druckmann.
I know. I'm aware. That was a conscious choice.
Okay. Very good. Oh my gosh, now I'm excited for next week's, and we're in this week's episode. So.
Yeah. I know. But yeah,
but yes.
Check back next week for the more interesting side, because clearly we haven't got a topic this week. Oh wait, yes we do!
Yes we do, we do.
Okay, so shall we move on to said topic?
Yes, we should.
Okay, so... I'm not going to say if you've been under a rock, because not everyone knows about Streets of Rage, unfortunately.
I know, which is kind of crazy to believe, but I mean,
I mean...
It doesn't appeal to everyone.
No, it doesn't. I mean, side-scrolling beat-em-ups are a game genre years and years gone by that was so popular and became so saturated that people got bored of it.
Yeah, I always think of the Turtles.
Well, yeah, I can literally quote
Manhattan Project.
I could quote a number of them straight away now as to how saturated the market got. Streets of Rage 1, 2, and 3, Final Fight 1, 2, and 3, all the Turtles games, so Turtles in Time, Manhattan Project, Hyperstone Heist, Battletoads, just to name
which I actually loved.
The thing that we're going on about Streets of Rage 4 mainly, and perfect English is perfect there, obviously.
Right.
Go and listen to that bad. That sounded terrible. The thing is that the reason why we're talking about Streets of Rage is because it's the first game in their series in 26 years. I know that is mental, right? That series has not had a game nearly as long as I've been alive.
I was gonna say, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Wow.
I know, and the thing is that this is not through want of choice, because Sega have tried so many times to get this off the ground. Fan projects have come out and been stopped, and cease and desists have happened, because I mentioned in a game fact before that Condemned was originally a 3D Streets of Rage. We also had the fan-made project of Streets of Rage Remake. Very, very weird. But this led us down a bit of a rabbit hole. And I put this to you, and you went, this is a great idea, straight up.
Yeah.
Games you would love to see revived after a long hiatus. So, the rules are, and yes, we have to put a slight rule on this one.
Yeah.
Games that have not been seen for at least 10 years plus.
Yeah.
Okay? So, do you want to start, or shall I? Because I know you've got a big one in your pocket.
Yeah.
So, sorry, I didn't hear any of that. Right, 2 secs. We had one there, by the way, as well.
Yeah.
So can you note that one down? Cool, thanks. It's just so I can go back and then maybe replace the audio with the other one. Sort of do it that
Yeah,
way. This is going to take a little bit more than usual.
it is. I hate that.
It's
I don't know
fine.
what
Don't
to
worry
do.
about it at all. Don't worry. Okay.
Alright.
Cool. So, right. Okay, we'll go again. So where did we finish up on that? Oh, games that have so 10 years. So I'll go from here. So, do you want to start, or shall I?
Uh, I think I'll let you start, and I will join in.
Okay. So, I mean, this one's a hard one to say because it's strange for me to think that this game they haven't had a game in nearly 10 years or maybe about 10 years for this series. It's a big one as well. Left 4 Dead.
Oh yeah. Oh, it's a good one. That is a
What
very good one.
what is Valve's issue with games with the number 3?
Yes.
You know, Half-Life 3,
Yeah.
Portal
Yep.
3, Left 4 Dead 3,
Exactly. Exactly.
Half-Life 2 Episode 3.
Which of course was the ones I was going to throw up, but yes, or throw out. Yeah, I mean, it's strange to think because Left 4 Dead was so well received.
Yeah,
Um,
such a good set of games.
it really was. The potential, again, as I've said before, lore is one of my favorite aspects of games.
Yeah.
The potential for the lore in the Left 4 Dead series
I
is
know.
huge.
I never
Yeah.
really explored that at all.
Nope.
In
Nope.
the
They were
previous 2 games, they never touched anything to do with that sort of how the zombie apocalypse actually started.
exactly. And I don't know. Of course, the multiplayer is fun.
It's absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it was probably one of the first multiplayers that I really enjoyed playing with, like my friends and stuff.
Me too.
Yeah, because I don't actually usually, if I play multiplayer, it's usually just like against strangers on the internet, kind of Halo multiplayer type
Yeah.
stuff. But Left 4 Dead was actually like we all just got together and played. It was fun. It was very enjoyable.
Yeah.
So it is weird. It's just weird that they haven't gone back
I know.
to that well.
It's so strange that they never made a 3rd game of this. I would have thought that with the next series of consoles that came out at the time, obviously the Xbox One and the PS4, they would have jumped over a new engine. But maybe, just maybe, Valve saw the architecture that they were using and went, nope.
Yeah.
Lord Gaben decided to go, no.
I mean, you wonder that, and then I always am wondering, like, how much did they put on the back burner to focus on Steam?
Yeah, but the problem is that I have with this principle is that to say that they were focusing solely on Steam would have been wrong because Steam had been out since Half-Life 2 had been, or Half-Life 2 had come out.
Yeah.
You couldn't play the game without Steam.
That's right. That's right.
And by the time Left 4 Dead came out, it was like 2008, I believe.
That's
the
yeah,
first game. And then
yeah.
I think it was a couple of years later that they had Left 4 Dead 2. So they were fully in the swing of Steam by that point. They knew exactly what they wanted from Steam. So they were still developing games. But I think what the problem was is that they realised that Steam was more of a money earner, whereas developing games is more of a cash pit.
Yes, it can be, absolutely. That's actually a good point. Because I believe they released Portal 2.
Yeah, in 2012, I believe.
Yeah, I was gonna say 2010, but no, you're right, it's 2012. Yeah, and I just don't know why they didn't go back to the well, as they say. I'd love to see another Left 4 Dead game.
Do you think that potentially that one of the reasons why they haven't is because they didn't have enough new ideas?
That's a very valid point, actually, because the zombie apocalypse has been done to death.
Yeah, and you
In
have to
all
imagine. Yeah, you have to
platforms.
imagine around about the time, we were getting a lot of zombie shooter games. You
Mhm.
had you
Sure.
had Call of Duty doing zombies modes.
Yes.
A couple of years later, Last of Us came out and all that sort
Mhm.
of thing. You have to look at all the blooming movies, the George A. Romero movies that were done to death over the years, and the
Yeah.
fact that 2005 Capcom did their was it 2005 or was it yeah, it was around about 2006, I think, where Capcom dipped their toe in Dead Rising
I was gonna
again.
say Dead Rising, which is actually, if you go back and play Dead Rising, just the first,
It's trash.
second. It's well, it isn't. It isn't. It's weird
No, the first
because
game is awful. It's truly terrible.
well, they've got it on a timer, which is terrible.
I hate that. I
Uh,
really hated
yeah,
that. The save function to that game was
that
awful as well.
exactly. That's about what I was about to say. But weirdly, the graphics still look decent.
Yeah,
The
they
controls are actually, I like the controls.
yeah, they definitely did future proof the visuals and the
They
controls
did,
on that one. They were very forward thinking in that one, at least. I do agree with that aspect of it, but I just I
but
love the
the
mall setting, but I think Frank West is, and I'll get the sense right. He's a bit of a dick.
yeah.
He's covered wars.
Um, but
Mm, are you there? Yeah, thank you.
okay,
That one was bad.
that yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my
I also
gosh.
just asked, you there?
Oh gosh, yeah. That didn't even come through. Oh my
No,
gosh, are we gonna be able to pull this off? You're gonna be working really hard on this. I just don't.
I hate this. Yeah,
What
we'll
do you
we'll
think?
we'll continue.
Okay, it's okay.
I mean, this is getting bad though. This is
It is
getting
getting
quite
bad.
bad.
And it's starting to get bad on this side. So
Yeah.
I'm starting to wonder if it is Discord because there's literally nothing, no one else is on right now.
No, not at
Uh,
all.
and even I can hear Alan's even not even playing.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll still press on. We'll
Okay.
try it, and
Wow.
I'll see what it comes out like in the edit. And
Yeah,
if
yeah,
it's truly
yeah,
bad, then we might have to just delay until next week and just do it again
yeah.
and just go
Plus,
screw
to
this.
be fair though, the idea for next week is really good.
I know it's such a good idea.
I kind of want to get the Ellie on there or somebody.
Oh,
Somebody.
that would be great.
Yeah,
Anyway, right.
yeah.
Note down the time we start again as
I
well.
did. Okay. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, we're going now, so yeah, 1 hour, 14, 30 something. Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Right, do you want to throw one out? Because I think we talked about
Yeah.
Left 4 Dead enough.
Yeah, but speaking of course in the same vein. Well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna switch developers and go with Duke Nukem 4, whatever it was. The terrible one. The awful one, the one that took 11 years to make.
13.
Okay, 13. Yeah, okay. Duke Nukem 3D. If you've never played it,
Yeah.
what is wrong with you? Go and play it. Um,
I did play it, and there's something wrong with me
yeah.
because I hated the game.
Did you really?
Yeah, the thing was that I liked it back in the day. It hasn't aged too well. And the
No, it
thing for me
hasn't.
is the humour style hasn't aged well either. And I'm not saying
No,
it's a problematic male chauvinist and all that. No, I'm not going with that. No, it's just the fact that it is such pathetic, childish toilet humour.
it is.
I don't like that kind of humour. I like my humour a bit more highbrow.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Well, I like shooting toilets, so
Fine. Yeah, American over British. That's clearly yeah. Good.
I do have to admit, going back as a grown-up and playing it, because yes, I played it as a child. I snuck and played it.
Yeah, me too.
As I did many of my brother's games.
Yeah.
But going back as an adult, yeah, there is some actual problematic things. Like, I don't like shooting the naked ladies as much as I once did. And
Oh, so what? You're talking you didn't like shooting them in the breasts and letting the silicone come out?
yeah, see, I was like 8 or whatever, and I didn't really
Yeah.
know. But now that I'm older, I'm like, I don't really like this.
Yeah.
I do still like some of his quips
Mm-hmm.
and stuff. So, okay, actually, having talked it out, I do think it was
You're
due
not happy about this.
for a remake. Yeah. Um.
Dear.
Yeah, I guess it was due for a remake, but what they went with was, well, they did try to remake it a little bit more. I'm not gonna say highbrow because Duke Nukem is not
No,
nowhere near highbrow,
no, it
but
definitely is not.
they tried to grow him up a bit. I think they tried to add some maturity, but like emotional maturity, not like mature
Yeah.
themes. Uh, it didn't. It didn't do well. It didn't. It wasn't good.
No, it essentially killed Duke Nukem pretty much.
It did. But I mean, Duke Nukem Forever, like,
Yeah,
I
but that was
don't
back.
know. Mhm.
That was the unfortunate thing because it wasn't handled by the original studios, was it? It
No,
was
no.
Infogrames and 3D Realms who did it before.
Yeah, and it got passed around, and then it got delayed, and then let's be honest, the culture changed.
Yeah,
Uh, and yes, there are some problematic things
yeah,
that I had forgot that they couldn't add. Uh,
yeah,
and, so it didn't do well,
yeah.
which was disappointing. I would like to see a remake
Mm.
of it, but maybe its time has passed. Maybe it is just a relic from that generation, you know?
Absolutely agree.
Yeah, because I'm
Also,
thinking.
yeah, go on,
Mhm.
go on.
Well, I was thinking I was going to compare it here to Doom Eternal, which is my current game of the year until Halo Infinite comes out. And um, what they've done is Doom 2016 was a reboot.
Yep,
They retold the same story.
but
They
kind of
just
a sequel though at the same time.
exactly they fleshed it out a bit. Just did a little bit of tweaking to it,
Yeah,
and then we have Doom Eternal, which is it's a good beefy game. It's just good.
yep,
Um, and I like that they did it right. They did it well.
yeah,
They did not do Duke Nukem Forever as well. If they were
mm,
to redo it, they would probably need to do some research on Doom
probably,
Eternal. Yeah.
probably. But
Yeah.
I wanted to raise a point about this,
Okay.
about Duke Nukem Forever specifically,
Mm-hmm.
because I thought it smelt pretty bad
Mm-hmm.
anyway. But it smells
Right.
even more bad when you hear it was Gearbox Software who made
Oh yeah.
it. So
Oh.
good old Randy Pitchford. Well done, Randy.
Oh yeah. Objectively, if you were to objectively look, it does seem like Gearbox would be a good choice.
Yeah, I know. It is so weird, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
they were a good developer at that time. You
Yeah.
know, but
Decent. I would say they were decent.
they were good. They were all right. They
They were
weren't.
solid.
They weren't
They were
blowing everyone away, apart from Borderlands.
right. Which again, as we've said so many times before, was a surprise. Took everybody
Yeah,
by surprise.
and obviously most of that was based on the art style, not the actual game. Because
Honestly,
when it had that original art style, no one gave two craps about it.
right,
So
right.
yeah,
No, that I absolutely 100% agree. Because to be
mm.
fair, that's whatever got my attention was the cell shading.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
yeah,
Okay,
because it brings nothing new to the table.
sure.
But uh, I do want to touch on one game that I think that we'll both enjoy discussing. But
Go ahead.
so I never ever. Okay, so Half-Life 2, it came out,
Ooh,
and then
ouch.
and then all of its little DLC would
Yeah.
come out,
Yep.
episodes, I guess.
Mhm.
And then, okay, the first 2 years, I was kind of along with everyone. Yeah, let's see a Halo. Let's see a Half-Life 3. Let's see a Half-Life 3.
Yeah.
As we hit the 10-year mark, I was like, no, they're not. This is silly. They're not going to do a
Yeah.
Half-Life 3. And then this year,
Yeah.
they came out with Alex.
I know, that was such a weird thing, wasn't it? It was like
It
I
is.
remember even on that specific episode where I said I can't believe I'm actually gonna have to talk about Half-Life in a news story because I thought
Yeah,
all hope was gone.
yeah, absolutely. But now, and with as well received as Alex has been, and as good quality as it seems to be, again, I think it's going to be a little too nausea-inducing for me. But I
Yeah, me
just
too.
really want to play it. But and that's the mechanics, not the game itself, guys.
It's because it's VR.
Yeah, exactly. Um, but I think maybe this is wishful thinking. I don't know, but
Mm, yeah, I'm gonna say wishful thinking for sure already, and I know exactly what you're gonna say.
that maybe they are looking to dip back into the Half-Life universe.
They already did. It was called Alex.
Well,
I know. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
yes,
I
but
I think you're right. I actually do think you're right. And usually I would turn around and go, "No, it's just a pipe dream," because I don't
mhm,
want to get too disappointed most times.
right,
But
yeah,
they've released Alex. It's a critical success.
it is.
Um,
Yep.
basically, they're going to want to capitalize on that name, especially for new players
Yes.
who haven't played Half-Life before, who've just
Mhm.
gone, "Oh, we know about the legacy of Half-Life, but never played Half-Life." So they may go back and possibly remaster the original games to
They
which
should.
they already have, by the fact that
Well,
Half-Life Black Mesa came out this year
yeah,
as well.
exactly. Yeah,
Or is it last year? I can't remember. But either way, like,
last year, but yeah,
yeah, they had that out anyway. So
yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if that company is now working on a remake of 2.
yeah.
But I do think if we're going to get Half-Life 3, and I think Half-Life 3 isn't nailed on at this present moment, because I actually
Right.
think Half-Life 2 Episode 3 is more likely, considering that spec script that was out
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
But I think if we're going to see a new Half-Life or new entry, not, episode entry, a full-fledged sequel to 2,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be a VR game, I'm afraid.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Why else would
Uh,
they develop an entire engine for
yeah.
Alex? An 18
Oh,
hour
yeah.
experience.
Yes, you're right. Oh, that's very good point. Yeah,
We are
I mean,
bearing in mind that, and I'll use this as my possible precedent for this entire situation, is
mhm.
the Half-Life games always advanced technology in some way, didn't they? You know,
Yes, that's right.
the first game was like that unbelievable photorealism that you got in
Yes.
terms of the creation of people and monsters and all that sort of thing. It was like the uncanny valley moment of that time in 1998 where people actually looked like people,
I
you
know,
know.
which is so weird to say, but guys, it really was.
I know, and then you go into 2000 and I can't remember when it came out. I want to say 2004 actually for Half-Life 2.
Yeah, I think it's 4.
Need to look now.
Um,
Need to look. So sorry,
yeah,
guys.
well, yeah, physics was their big.
2004, November
Nice.
16th, 2004.
We were both right. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, but then so you look at that and you go, so what are they doing in this game? They've advanced the technology even further, like, depth of field and vision, and the whole high refresh rate of like certain environments and all that sort of thing was something that was never really done properly on like that current state of consoles, which was the PS2 and the Xbox and the GameCube. But then the biggest thing about it we mentioned was Steam, so digital distribution,
Yes.
which has changed the entire industry for the better,
Yeah.
for the worse, who knows, Some people love it, some people hate it. But it has meant that there is a choice available to people now, that they don't
Mm-hmm.
have to go and buy retail if they don't want to. But now we're looking at a series that has been sat there dormant for so long that the next stage in evolution for them was VR.
Yeah.
And I think that's the only way they can go. That maybe Valve, because they've got their own VR setup now as well, which is a very high price,
Yes.
but is apparently the best on the market. Maybe they feel like that's where the next true evolution of games is, and that's why they haven't touched Half-Life for so many years.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, maybe that is what they're looking to do, is have a launch title for their own. I mean, remember how many years were there rumors that there was a Steam console around the corner?
Oh yeah, the old Steam box, the Steam
Yeah,
Link, and all those sorts of things. You
yeah.
know.
So maybe that's evolved, and it is maybe they do have plans for a more VR, VR focused
Yeah.
console.
Hmm.
And they want Halo.
You've
Ugh,
just got Halo on the brain.
I really do. I that is not a lie. I'm trying so hard to not talk about Halo. Um,
I know.
um, but yeah, so they could be looking at a Half-Life 3 console launch.
Well, I mean, their VR potential is already out there. I mean,
Yeah, I mean,
the hardware is already there, but
it's
maybe
there.
they might have a revised
That's,
version or the next version where
yes,
they
for
go, oh, 3 years down the line, oh, we've made some advances in the technology with the motion controls. By the
mhm,
way, we want to give you something special. So
exactly.
here's our new. I can't even remember what their VR setup is even
I
called, to be
can't
honest.
either. I'm absolutely, yeah, I can't.
But they go, oh, look, the next generation, the version 2 of our VR setup, and they show it all off, and then it's just suddenly like a black screen appears, and you just see a
Mhm.
head crab jump out, and then Gordon Freeman bash the hell out of it, and then with a crowbar, and then pick it up and slam it to the ground with a gravity gun, and it just flashes up free, and that's all they need.
All
That is
they need.
literally all they would need.
Yep.
And this is coming from someone who's not really played Half-Life. I know enough to say that.
I will be honest. I replayed Half Life, and then some of the folks staying with me are replaying the Orange Box.
Oh,
So that's
nice.
come up a few times. Yeah. They're more Portal fans than
Yeah,
Half Life, but I mean, it's all on the Orange Box. So
yeah.
I kind of dabbled in it,
Mm.
and then I remembered Half Life 2
Yeah.
with mostly just me being frustrated.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's either a lot of puzzles, and then you get past the puzzle, and then you're in a big gunfight,
Yeah.
and then
With no
stalkers
guns.
with no guns, no way to replenish supplies. Stalkers appear, and it's like, oh, I remember. I don't think I think that the nostalgia fog might have got me, and I think I
Possible.
remember Half-Life 2 better than
It actually was.
it actually was. I
Yeah.
know that makes me a heretic, but I'm kind
I
of
don't.
starting to think,
I don't care, to be honest, because the most experience that I actually have with Half-Life, apart from Portal, because it's set in the same universe,
oh, right, yeah, which I love.
is the weirdest possible thing that you could think to involve my knowledge of Half-Life is Gary's mod.
Oh my gosh, yes, good old Gmod.
I love
Yes,
Gmod. Gmod is
yes.
awesome.
Oh my gosh, yeah. I was actually having this kind of discussion with someone the other day, and it was like, wow, remember those days? And
Yeah.
the stuff, the creativity that came out of that.
Yeah.
Of course, my
It,
absolute favorite being a web comic that evolved from it.
oh my god, that was so good.
Concerned Citizen, I
Yeah,
think is
that
what it
was
was called.
so. I couldn't remember the
Guys,
name, but that was so good.
you have to go read it if you've not read it.
It's genius.
It's so good, and the guy that wrote it, he's so good. He's just so
Yeah,
good.
I mean, Gary's mod was pretty much the start, and I mean, obviously,
Mhm.
like you had it going on at that time, and in sort of respect. But had it not been for Gary's mod, I think Red versus Blue wouldn't have even happened.
Yeah, Red versus Blue, Team Fortress.
Yep.
Uh, there's another one that came out of it. I can't remember, but yeah, no, there was a lot of things that were born of it.
Yeah,
God,
I
it was
remember.
just a big creative sandbox.
Yeah,
So
it
fun.
was. It was so good, but it was
Yeah.
basically it was the Half-Life 2 engine that had stripped
Hmm.
everything out and left you with a blank canvas that you could create
Yes.
anything you wanted using
Oh,
every asset that was in the game.
yeah.
And to be
Uh,
fair, one of my favourite memories of that was literally sitting on there with one of my friends at the time, and we were trying to create the world's largest nuclear launcher.
yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Those were literally the days I now wonder, thinking about that, I wonder if Gmod influenced, it had to have, Halo's Forge. Um,
That's why I mentioned Red versus Blue, because Forge Mode
yeah.
was clearly as a result of that, because that wasn't in 2, that was in 3.
Yeah, that was in 3. Exactly,
Yeah, and
exactly.
Gary's Mod came out about a year after Half-Life 2, which was obviously in
Exactly.
2005.
I was going to say, Gary's Mod had been out for a while before
Yeah.
Halo 3 did. Forge.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, I don't think you picked up on that straight away that I said Red versus Blue, knowing full well that that was done in Halo, though.
Well, yeah. Uh, love Red.
Yeah, I know.
Go
I
watch
know.
the first 3 seasons. I had
They were
when
great.
they started doing this. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, well. It's fine.
Uh,
We won't wax lyrical about Red versus Blue any further. Yeah, you big drop there.
yeah.
Thanks for the note. 1:32, 1 minute 32.
No.
1 hour 32, I guess that is. Yeah.
33.
It's close enough.
Sure.
It's fine. It's fine. It's
Yeah.
absolutely fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So we'll move on to the next set of games that we have here.
Yes.
I would have put Streets of Rage on this list, obviously, but I can't now.
Yeah.
Woohoo! So I'll mention one that I wasn't a particular fond fan of, but I know a lot of people are big fans of the series, and I'm shocked to say that we haven't actually had a game since 2008, a mainline series. Prince of Persia.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that. I wonder, and this is kind of silly, but I do wonder how much that terrible movie influenced.
No,
Uh,
I think I've got a bigger reason why.
oh, okay. Probably owners changed hands, but
Wrong.
what? Oh, what?
Well, call back to earlier on in the episode.
Mm-hmm.
Assassin's Creed.
Oh, yeah.
Assassin's Creed ruined that series.
You're right.
Because it is essentially the same game.
It is. It's a grown-up version of Prince of Persia.
Yeah.
Wow,
And I
that's
mean,
a good
bearing in
point.
mind the cell-shaded version of 2008 of Prince of Persia did not particularly do too well.
I mean, it didn't do awful.
No, but it was seen as the heretic for the fans. Basically, they did not like that game one bit.
Heretic's a good game.
Okay. God damn it. So, I mean, I wasn't the biggest fan of those games anyway. I remember playing one of the original Prince of Persias on the Mega Drive, and oh god, that game was so frustrating. I mean, most of it was because it was quite badly designed as well.
It was. I mean, it was an early puzzler, so
yeah,
that part's fun. But to be fair, no, it didn't really. It's never been one of my favorites, but I know people are very devoted to it.
Yeah.
And yeah, they love it very much. I think that you've made a valid point that Assassin's Creed has almost made it moot at this point.
Well, yeah, because you have to look at when the first Assassin's Creed game was in 2008, was it not?
Yeah. Yes, yeah, that's right.
Around about that same time. So you had two series at the exact same time doing the exact same thing. Right. And why are people going to split their money on the same game, basically?
Yeah. Which you will find, they do this in movies as well. Sometimes movies or game makers will release very similar titles, hoping that, you'll pick one over the other,
okay. I have to make a small correction. 2007.
Okay.
So
still
similar time. Yeah. And look at how well Assassin's Creed sold compared to that Prince of Persia game.
Yeah,
I mean, Jake Gyllenhaal didn't help either.
well, that's kind of what I'm saying. I kind of think
It's just weird though. It is just weird. Go on, you say your point, and then I'll let mine be known.
I just wonder, like, the negativity around the movie. That probably took the shine off of the series itself. Is
Counterpoint.
what? Uh-huh.
My counterpoint. Did the Assassin's Creed movie not do that for that series?
Oh my gosh, I forgot there was an Assassin's Creed movie.
And that's what I was going to mention before. You can't mention the movies as taking the shine off of it because Assassin's Creed is still going, and that had a terrible movie with
Yeah.
Michael Fassbender and Marion Cotillard.
Yep. I'm glad you remembered that because all I could think of was Magneto. I couldn't think of his name.
Well, to be fair, I was quite excited about that movie because it looked quite good, and then it sucked.
That's the thing. I mean, and again, this is a good topic for future as well. We've mentioned this before.
I am not going into that hell that is video game movie adaptations ever again. I've done it before, and I will not dip my toe back in that.
I want to.
Well, you talk to yourself. You go ahead. But when you have had to sit there and watch the Mario Brothers movie, Final Fantasy Spirits Within, Mortal Kombat Annihilation, Silent Hill, and Blood Rain, any Juve Bowl movie, that ruins you forever.
I still don't understand how they got him to direct Aliens. I will never understand that, but it cracks me up.
Aliens?
Aliens 3 was one of his.
That wasn't him. That wasn't Uwe Boll. That was David Fincher, the guy who did Seven.
Which one is the Aliens with?
Probably Resurrection.
Oh, it was Resurrection because that's the one where 1997. Yep. So yeah, he wrote that. Joss Whedon wrote it.
I know. He's distanced himself very far away from that as well.
Wait a minute. Why have they got? Why? They don't have him listed. Hold on.
I'm worried by this now.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm in the.
No, it's fine. She's in research mode, so.
I am. So. Yui Boll directed Alone in the Dark, which stars Christian Slater, which is the only reason I ever watched it, and it's terrible.
Yeah, it is. And he also did Blood Rain and God, what else?
Ooh. He's done some terrible things.
Most of them video game movie adaptations. That's what I said. Once you go down that rabbit hole, you can't get out of.
He did a Postal?
Yeah.
Postal was turned into a movie?
Yep.
Is it terrible?
I haven't watched it. It's got to be awful. It's not very well rated on IMDb, but I don't plan on ever watching it because Postal's quite one of those games and those series that I just don't want to touch at all.
He's a terrible. Oh my gosh. Okay, I think I'm going to have a Yui Boll night.
Oh, you so should. Get yourself drunk and just watch them and report back. That'll be so funny.
My gosh.
As an episode, we should do that you have to torture yourself with all those movies.
Yeah. Yes, exactly. But no, apparently I'm wrong. Which I can't believe it.
I don't believe it.
I can't believe it. But Aliens Resurrection, although written by Josh Whedon, apparently wasn't directed by Yui Boll.
No, I don't believe it was, but I do know that the third movie was done by David Fincher, who has also very much distanced himself away to the point where Alien 3, he literally goes, I didn't make that piece of nonsense.
Yeah, sometimes they'll put different names as a director. That one name, Alan Smitty or something like that.
Yeah.
If they don't like it. But the interesting thing is, I can't believe we're getting off on this tangent.
No,
I'm just going to say this. There are parts of Alien Resurrection that I actually like.
It's not bad at times, but it is quite terrible.
Not. But my absolute favorite, and guys, go watch it on YouTube because it is everywhere. But Sigourney Weaver, that scene where she throws the ball over the basketball.
Yeah.
That she did that for real.
Oh, I know she did. And that
And
had some sudden surprising Ron Perlman in there as well.
yes, exactly. Like all that's real, and
Yeah.
I just love that.
It was cool, but very weird.
Yeah, it was very weird. But anyway, so there's a lot of parts that I do actually like. Why did I think that was Yui Bull? There has to be a reason. Anyway,
Okay, it's fine.
we're off on our tangent. Woo!
Yeah.
Welcome to Rapid Review Radio. Tangent to
where everything's all a bit crazy here.
It is. We're losing our minds. Yeah. And also, if for some reason you're listening to this episode and skipped over 28, which I don't imagine you would, 28's really good. We're just losing our minds.
Yeah, that's where we officially have lost the plot, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I throw another one out to you?
Sure. Absolutely.
This is a series that I have a lot of affiliation with. I'm not the biggest fan of the series. I do really like the genre itself. It's a game series or genre series that has aged well, but also not very well either, because it's I would say it's a bit of a relic of its time. But these sets of games are truly fantastic, and they go without saying. The genre in question is point and click.
Right, okay. Oh, yes, right.
And the series, and I know you're going to like this, Monkey Island.
And instantly the soundtrack is in my head.
Yep. Now, Monkey Island are an excellent set of games, and they are full of humour, full of great stories, and great characters, and that is essentially everything that a video game is. And yet they have not ever once, and I think some of this is obviously down to LucasArts closing down, but but even Disney didn't want to do anything with Monkey Island, which is so unbelievable.
Because it's right there. It's like, but maybe because it's so close to Pirates of the Caribbean, I guess.
Didn't really think about that.
Yeah, I mean,
man.
I think it's too good of a property to just let fade into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Because unlike Duke Nukem, which, as we've spoke here, and I've now realized is a product of its time, and probably is best left in the early 90s, Monkey Island is more classic.
Yeah.
And, could be brought forward, I think. I think it would.
I'd agree. I think they could do some great things with that, if I'm honest, but they just aren't willing to go with it, I don't think. Do you think that possibly some of it is that to modernise it would take away some of its charm?
Definitely a huge part of its charms is, of course, its, early graphics, early sound even. Point and click adventures are very of their times. They do seem to be having a resurgence on PC. Yeah. They've never transferred well to consoles. I had Maniac Mansion on Nintendo.
Yeah.
And although there are some good points about it as the Nintendo version, it's much easier and just makes more sense as a PC game.
Yeah.
So I can kind of see that as being its limitation. But we've seen, revivals, I think we mentioned it last week, of old games like 2 Point Hospital. I never thought that.
Yes.
I never thought that Theme Hospital would be a good fit for a console just because of the controls. And then Theme Point.
That's what it should be called. Theme Point Hospital.
Then 2 Point Hospital is here, and it's great.
Yeah.
And, so I would like to see Monkey Island get a new little breath of life. It's a classic.
Funny that, because you sort of touched on something I wanted to bring up at the very last moment with this topic.
Right.
I'll kind of bring on it now. Mm-hmm. Is the fact that we shouldn't be sitting here waiting for companies to revive these projects at all. If we are interested in seeing these old school sort of projects go on and them potentially bringing them back, the best way to do it is to give these to the indie developers, as proven with Streets of Rage, that they can make the games,
Oh, of
in the way
course.
that some companies can't, because there's too much history. You know,
Right.
they can go into it with a fresh set of eyes and go,
Hmm.
this is what made this series fantastic, and this is how we advance the series as well. Because I think a lot of it is based on the fact that they don't know how to advance their series. That's exactly what I said with Half-Life 3, is that
Yes.
maybe they're looking into the potential of this being a VR project because they finally had an advancement in the industry enough for them to go, we should put some time and effort into this. But
Yeah.
the indie developers are the ones that are doing it. Look at, just for example, obviously, you know, Lizard Cube. Lizard Cube are the ones who worked on Streets of Rage 4 with Guard Crush Games and .mu. Now,
Hmm.
they, Wonder Boy hadn't had a game in years, yet they
Uh,
brought that back with that absolutely
it did.
magnificent remake.
It's
And
beautiful.
then then they got a new sequel,
Yes, that's
which
right.
was crazy.
Yeah.
After
Yeah,
20
because
odd years, they got a sequel.
I was going to say no one could have predicted that.
No,
Uh,
absolutely
no.
not. And yet, an indie developer approached the old company and went, we want to make a remake of this. And boom, look what's happened. They've then gone
Yeah.
on to go and make another remake of an incredibly iconic series with a developer who know how to make a fighting system, because Streets of Fury EX is absolutely outstanding from Guard Crush.
Right. Absolutely.
Side-scrolling beaters are basically games that have died as well, and yet they've come back with a massive resurgence.
Hmm.
So
Absolutely.
it's just crazy. But just as a forefront to that, or the last point maybe to that, can I put one more to you? I don't know how much you know about this series though.
Okay.
If I was to tell you about an egg with shoes and hands, would you know
Wait,
what I'm talking
wait.
about?
Okay. Wait, that sounds way familiar. Okay. I had a game like that.
What, you mean Fantastic Dizzy? And
Uh,
Magic Land Dizzy, and
yeah.
the egg for known as Dizzy.
Yes. I think it might have had a different name in the US maybe, but
There
yeah.
there were a stack load of games. Honestly, you could have played anything. Crystal Kingdom Dizzy, Prince
Oh
of
my
the
god.
Yolk Folk, Spellbound Dizzy, Dizzy
Now
Down
that
the
sounds
Rapids, Fantastic Dizzy, Bubble
yeah.
Dizzy, Dizzy Panic, Magic
Oh my
Land
goodness.
Dizzy.
Ah, Dizzy Panic. Now that sounds
There you
familiar.
go.
That's exact. Yeah.
Quick Snacks, Fantasy World Dizzy, Fast Food, Treasure Island Dizzy. All of that.
Oh my
There are
goodness.
a
Yeah.
ton of those games on the ZX Spectrum.
Yes. 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 Yes.
And my god, are they weird.
They're very weird. They
But
are.
they are also very awesome because they're not just platformers, they
Hmm.
are adventure exploration platformers, which is such a weird thing. But they
Yeah.
really set the bar for what actually adventure games could do back then.
Yeah.
My god, they are fantastic.
That actually brings up another point, but we will bring this to a close. But the Z X Spectrum.
How dare you? It's the ZX Spectrum, you Philistine, and you never
I
even had
know.
it on your damn shores.
I was gonna say we, as in the U.S., missed out on that, which means we missed out on a whole lot of games. I mean, some games were ported over
Yeah.
for various things.
Yeah, you missed out. You missed out on two gems that I played for a previous podcast that I would never have played, called Manic Miner and Jet Set Willy.
Regaled with tales of those games as well by a fan of the ZX Spectrum.
Yeah.
So I know of them strictly from the passion, the passionate love that people have for those. I hate that we missed out on them. But we also missed out on something else that you guys had. I think I brought this up before, but I do want to explore it one day. Y'all had it was a BBC.
Oh, the BBC Micro.
That, yes.
Yeah, but we also had, this is the problem, and I'll wax lyrical about this one very briefly because of, it seems that the whole idea of the video game crash in '83 is a bit skewed nowadays.
Yes.
In the fact that I think we have kind of mentioned it briefly, but most people think that the video game crash of '83 affected everywhere.
Yeah.
That is incorrect, unfortunately, because
Mm-hmm.
it affected North America.
Yep.
That is all.
Which,
Video games were not dead around the world
nope.
because we had our 8-bit machines
Mm-hmm.
over here. They were called personal computers.
Yeah,
You know,
we had them, but not like you
yeah,
guys had
but
over here.
yeah, whereas you had the Apple One, the Apple Two, and all that sort of thing.
Yeah.
We had the BBC Micro, the ZX Spectrum, the oh god, I'm trying to think what else was there. The Amstrad CPC and the
Yeah.
Amiga, the Commodore Amiga.
Well,
Commodore 64.
we had we had that. Um,
Yeah, I am aware that you did
but
have them, but they were the line of stuff that we had over here.
yeah.
And actually, most people don't seem to remember this as well, that actually the NES was an utter failure over here. Nintendo wanted absolutely nothing to do with the producing of the first line of consoles. They actually gave it to Mattel to make over here.
Oh wow. Oh, that's crazy.
Yeah,
I
so if you happen to pick up the first edition NES that was sold over here, they are worth a
mhm.
lot more money than NESs are worth anywhere because they were
Wow.
Mattel based.
That is wild. I'm
Yeah,
looking over at my box right now.
sorry.
I have a pristine NES
Nice.
here in its box. Um,
Yep.
it even has a message for Mario on the front.
Amazing.
Yeah, but that's crazy. Yeah, because back in the U.S. Now, I mean, of course, I wasn't around for all of that, but I've been, yeah, I'm a video game obsessive, so I know some things.
Yeah.
From what I understand, I think we had the Tandy,
Oh, yeah, yeah.
the Commodore, and just IBM personal computer. That's all it was called, and
Oh, yeah, I
uh,
forgot to mention the IBM Personal.
yeah, that's what we had like at
Yeah,
school and stuff.
yeah. And obviously, like I mentioned, you had the Apple One as well.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and of course that. Um, and so when I came over here and started to learn about this, like, just this wealth of stuff you guys had, like, it was at your front door. You
I
could
know.
program and all kinds of stuff that we were just like, whoa. So
I
it's
know.
it's crazy how different it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is that, like, most people wouldn't actually know who they are. But if you come over here and you mention the name the Oliver twins, then oh my goodness, everyone knows who the heck they are. And just so if you don't know, they're the ones who made Dizzy.
Ah, right. Okay.
Yeah,
I'm going.
they
I'm going
are
to
some of the most
use that.
iconic video game creators in England.
Wow.
They are so revered, and they even to the point a couple of years ago they actually did a convention called Play Expo, and
Oh, right. Okay.
I went to it, and
Oh, neat.
unfortunately I went on the day they weren't there
Oh,
because I wanted to meet them because they are. Oh
oh,
my!
that is always
And my
great.
friend at the time also wanted to because he was the one who got me into Dizzy, and he is a huge, huge fan.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
That's really cool. Yeah, I'll have to explore
yeah.
that.
I
Um,
mean, a lot of the games are now on emulators anyway, so you can easily
yeah,
go back and play Dizzy. They
I've
are of their time.
I've got
They,
yeah,
I do think they still look great and they still handle very, very well.
yeah.
But yeah,
Um,
I'd love to see a reimagining of that series. And
yeah, for sure.
oh dear,
That would definitely. I'm curious. I would like to see that as
cool.
well.
All right,
But I
have you got another, or is that
I
it?
don't. I don't. But we're coming to a close.
Yeah,
Um,
I would agree. I think this is a natural point.
Yep. And as usual, I say it every week, but it's no less true. We do really, really appreciate you guys stopping by and giving us a listen.
Hmm.
Um yeah, and always feel free to give us a like or a share or let us know. Feedback's always appreciated.
Yeah,
Um
please comment or whatever, and let us know how we can improve or whether or not we're fantastic and keep going. No,
yeah.
I know we're not. We're just
Oh, and questions. We need listener
yeah.
questions.
We would love to handle the questions again, but for some reason nobody seems to want to do that. at present.
Yeah.
So
it's like we went into isolation and all the questions stopped.
Yeah. So please, if you have any questions, please sling them our way when we put the call out up. We would love to actually answer one. Because it
Yeah.
does feel like we're just talking to each other again, and that's it.
Oh,
Not that I have any
boring.
problems with it. Look, there I was being nice and saying I like talking to you, and then you go and insult me like that, you know.
Well, that about sums us up.
Get out of here, you bloody American. Coming over to my shores and trying to take over my land.
That's right.
Bitch.
Bringing my culture over. That's too funny.
Yeah. Right, do you want to wrap us up?
Yeah, I think we should wrap it up. I was going to mention something. Oh, well, maybe it'll come to me. If you want to follow us online, as you should, head on over to www.rapidreviewsuk.com. We have reviews of just about everything just going up.
On a daily
basis. They have the estimated reading time to the side, which is just so cool. And we've just got we're just continuously posting them up, and it's the range of AAA to indie games, so you're probably going to find exactly what you're looking for.
Oh yeah, I'd say we cover a lot more indie games than we do anything, but there are a good few AAA games on the horizon and have already been put out there.
Exactly.
I.e. Doom Eternal, but we are also ploughing through. I personally am ploughing through at the moment with the co-review of Final Fantasy VII Remake, so that should be up very, very soon because I finally finished it.
Yeah, definitely looking forward to that. It's something that we as in Rapids Review have not done before, so I'm very much into that.
Yeah, I think the format might surprise a few people because it is a little bit different to what what we usually do, but I think the lead on that one has a good idea, and we're rolling with it, and I think it could work. So we'll see how it goes.
Absolutely. And then you can follow us on Twitter at Rapid Reviews UK, or our podcast specific Twitter, which is at try this again at RR Radio Pod.
Yes.
And then we have a Twitch channel, which is twitch.tv/RRRadioPod.
Which I'm going to preface here. We were supposed to stream as of last night, which was the 2nd of May. That will now be on the 3rd of May, but it may be a little bit too late when you listen to this episode. But if it is, I would have streamed Streets of Rage 4.
Which actually reminded me of what I had forgotten. Which is we have a Discord now.
Ooh, I'm glad you mentioned that because I was going to mention that if you had forgotten it.
I was probably going to forget it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, come hang out with us. It's fun.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably access it by searching on Discord at Rapid Reviews UK, or I will put an invite link into the podcast description. And you could join that way. We have a podcast channel on there, so you can see when the episodes are posted, calls out for questions, and all the links will be there too.
Yep. And if you want to send us any individualized feedback or questions or suggestions, you can email them, which is podcast@. And then Pete, what about you? Where can they find you?
They can find me shooting the breeze over on Twitter, as I usually do, at Pete Beckett1, where it could be anything from talking about video games, talking potentially about politics, or talking about politics in video games.
Great.
Yay! What about you, Kylie? Where do they find you?
I am at Kiley to Greet on Twitter, which is KLEYTHT. Mostly still posting about autism.
That's fine. That's your target demographic, and I believe it does a lot of good to help people.
I do hope so. And it's always good too that if you have someone in your life that is a diagnosed, an autistic person, it's good to see the point of view because it is a very different way of thinking.
Yeah, and
as I'm coming to learn through therapy.
yeah,
But,
I would agree with that. And also, since doing this podcast, I've learned a ton because of you.
I'm glad about that because there is probably things
Mm.
things in general. I'm getting tired.
Yeah, I gathered that as much.
Y'all don't.
Uh-oh.
Pete and his amazing editing skills is going to.
Oh, this one's going to be a beast. This one's going to be hard, though.
It's a difficult one. We've had a lot of technical difficulties.
Bloody Discord.
For some reason. Yeah. But that does leave one last thing. So, Pete, with that game fact.
Because, of course, I've talking about Streets of Rage more than enough in this episode, I had to pick a Streets of Rage-based game fact, of course. I might be a little excited about that game. Does it show?
Yeah,
Does it show? Does it show?
Kind of, not quite.
No, not at all. Clearly not. Okay, well... Okay, so in the Japanese version of the game, not only did it have a different name, because it was called Bare Knuckle, rather than Streets of Rage...
Right.
But the character of Skate, or Eddie Hunter, for full, was actually called Sammy in the Japanese version. Weirdly enough.
Easy. Well, that's going to do it for us, I think.
I guess.
Yeah, because this episode, oh my god.
Yeah, has pretty much ruined me.
This is crazy.
And Kylie's tired, and
I had enough energy saved up for one episode, and we have stopped and started several times.
Yeah.
But as always, thanks for stopping by. Thanks for listening. We appreciate you out there, and we appreciate everyone, all the frontline workers. You guys are awesome. You rock.
You rule.
Yeah, and we will talk to you next week. Bye.